Everybody, welcome back to HitPoint, a JRPG news show, an anime news show, a niche news show, an industry news show. Hey, everybody, good to have you here. I hope you're all having a fantastic Monday. It is a pleasure to stream for y'all today. Baku-san JRPG, how are you doing this evening?
Man, I am doing great. Had a great time in New York, and now we're back. I apologize. That was the reason why we couldn't do the Sunday show, but hey, we are doing a Monday one. So hope you guys didn't miss us too much. I
Yeah.
certainly missed all of you. I missed Derek's face. I
Oh,
had trouble sleeping on Sunday because I was like, I didn't get to see Derek's face on Sunday. And then I was just like laying over, just rolling around in bed, like questioning my life decisions.
you were in New York questioning your life decisions because you didn't get to see me.
Well,
Wow.
at around 8 o'clock, which is when we would be doing the show on Sunday, I was on a bus on the way back. So yes,
Oh, okay.
that was probably the low point of the trip.
Okay.
So yes, I was probably questioning my life's decision around then.
Well, guys,
How was
today.
your weekend?
Oh, my weekend was okay. I got to install my uninterruptible power supply, so we should have
Nice.
no further possibilities of rogue computer mechanics, blowing things up randomly.
Oof.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, just,
the worst.
kind of playing a little bit low key, been making some extra videos, a little more than usual, and I think a lot of people have been really enjoying those. Most recently, I put out a video talking about, my conflicted mental state with Konami and Suikoden, and now I made a little Q&A, and I'm going to make a few more here pretty soon, hopefully. But hey, today, guys, we're gonna be previewing some trailers. Gonna be talking about some rumors. We'll be answering questions and comments from super chats at the end of the episode. And
That's right.
yeah, normally we do stream this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, but we are doing that Monday thing because of schedule conflicts. Mondays seem to be our pretty good like fallback date. So if you ever notice that we're not streaming, I usually try to put out a notice, in advance, but if you ever see that we're not going on Sunday, just hang on a little bit and we'll be on Monday.
Yeah.
So yeah. How about you, Baku? I guess you were in New York this weekend. What have you been up to?
New York City.
Yeah, what was that all
Yeah.
about?
I don't know why I said it like that.
I don't know. You
So a
sounded like you're
friend-
about to announce Crazy Taxi.
yeah, so a friend of ours flew in from Canada actually. So that was the reason why I had gone up there. I couldn't say no. Like I just couldn't be like, "Oh, you flew in all the way from Canada?" Well, I just yeah, too bad. It's like, no, I gotta swim. But that was fun. Got to spend a lot of time just hanging out, and the funny thing is, I've got a couple of friends who live in New York, and I was showing them places in New York City, which was weird. Like, you live here. It's like, yeah, but I've never been here. Like, but you live here. Like, how did you not know that this is a thing? That's when I realized that I could probably write some kind of a guidebook.
That sounds like a lot of fun, man.
Sounds like new video topics I could explore on YouTube.
Oh, you should. I mean, are you gonna? Speaking of making YouTube videos, any news on that front?
Yeah, speaking of that, I am still waiting to purchase new parts for the computer because I basically pinpoint down to the graphics card being the issue.
That's
Yeah.
that was like my worst nightmare scenario when my computer was
It's
having
starting to
issues.
artifact a little bit now, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
seems like that might be the issue. So I don't know why the slow failure, but I don't
Yeah,
know. There's only
usually-
one way to find out. To wait until the new graphics card come out and then see what happens. I will either go for a RTX 3000 series because there's no way I'm affording the 4000 series, or a new power supply to power that thing. The only thing I'm really waiting for is the RDNA 3, which we talked about last show.
Yeah, funny how that works.
Yeah, so nothing on the YouTube front, but I am still streaming on Twitch over at Buxon JRPG on twitch.tv. So please come by to hang out. I think I'll be streaming this Wednesday. I will be covering a new game that one such developer reached out to try. We'll talk a little bit about that.
Hmm.
But when I'm not doing that, I am playing Trails in the Sky Third, which
Oh yeah.
I have to say I am liking. So 2 streams in, I'm already liking more than 1 and 2 as far
Hmm.
as like the pacing is
Yeah.
concerned.
It's a very
Yeah,
condensed experience in
I
comparison.
like condense.
I
I don't
know.
have
Yeah.
time for the slow build. Just
Oh
like
man.
give it to me. And they are doing it. So I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I welcome this. So we'll see how
There
that goes.
there
How about you,
is
sir?
oh, I will I just want to say make sure you do all of the doors that you can. If
Oh
you know
yeah,
what
no,
I'm talking about.
absolutely. We're going for the full experience.
Good, good, good.
I'm using a guide kind of just
All right.
to
A
make
spoiler
sure
free
I'm
guide,
hitting
right?
all the
Oh,
important things. Yeah.
cool, cool. Good,
Yeah.
good, good, good. Well, anyways, I've been streaming also. You can find links to that in the description as well. I've been streaming my way through more of Golden Sun: The Lost Age, and I've been enjoying that quite a bit as well, actually. So, yeah, just kind of more of the same, but I think I am enjoying the pacing a little bit more as well. It feels a little less railroaded and a little more exploratory, which is really nice. But I'll have my full thoughts on that a little bit further down the line. But
At some point, there'll be a video from Derek.
But before we dive too far off the rails, Baku, what is our leading headline this week? What's our big story?
A big story is giant corporation companies don't listen to gamer.
Mm.
Find out what happens right after this.
More at 11. But before we do, we have some highlights from last week's comments that we wanted to kind of go over a little bit. So I'll
Yes.
go ahead and kick off with this first one here from some random
Mhm.
guy who says, slight correction as far as like the Trails trivia goes. The PS4 version of Zero is actually not based on Evo, the Evo version or Evolution version of the game. The PS4 version is actually kind of based on, it's the Kai version, which is based on
Yes.
the version of the PSP version of the game, with
Mhm.
some Cold Steel cameos retroactively inserted into the game. From what they were able to find online, Kadokawa owns the publishing rights for the Evo versions of the game, which is why those are never getting released by uh, us here in the West. They're never getting a re-release by
Mhm.
Falcom. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, some random guy, for that random correction. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you so much. Yeah. I was wondering about that, and I keep forgetting that there was a Kai version. I knew
Hmm.
that was the case. I just keep forgetting that that was a thing. Because what company would have multiple releases of like a remaster version of a game, other than Falcom? Because I guess that was kind of like growing pain for them. It's like
Hmm.
publishing and doing remasters. They just didn't know what they were doing. But hopefully, moving on from here onward, that Falcom would do better. I'm still a little
Oh,
upset about the Zero thing, and
hmm.
I'm sure I'm gonna be continue to be upset with Azure because I'm pretty sure Azure is gonna have the same issue,
Well,
and they're
yeah,
not gonna fix it, and that's
probably.
okay. I
I,
just
I, will- I will say that also, though, based on like what we've heard from Falcom, they're also not gonna probably touch remasters ever again either. So, uh,
yeah,
what you gonna do?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyways, let's hope they don't have any reasons to,
Yeah.
or if they ever do remasters and remakes, it would be after all the trail stories is complete. We'll see. All right, we've got another comment from a Christian Cortez who says, "I'm just glad Konami's making all these older games available to play again. Hoping for a Castlevania Diaz collection."
Hmm.
Thank you so much for that comment there, Christian. Yeah, so we have gotten a video from Mr. Derek on that very topic. Is that correct? Like,
Oh, about
did
games
we
that should
about
be remastered and
yes,
whatnot. Yeah, yeah.
that's right.
I mean, remaster all the things. Honestly, at this point, I don't. I'm starting to find that the pool of games that I'm like, you know, protective of is honestly kind of shrinking quite a bit. Yeah, go ahead and yeah, re-release the Konami collection. The thing is, like, I just don't want, like, personally speaking, I find it better if some of the original creators can be involved. And as it turns
Hmm.
out, it was actually revealed to me. I didn't know this at the time, but did you know that Konami actually had Junko Kawano involved
Hmm.
in the new art and design aspects of the Suikoden remasters?
I didn't before, but you told me the last time we talked about this.
Yeah, see,
Then I
okay.
knew.
All right.
Yes.
So I didn't know that at the time that I made my first video. So like
Hmm.
I'm still conflicted, I guess, because I feel like, Murayama should still be involved really, but because he's like the main guy, but whatever.
Right.
I mean, if Kawano's working on this and also Ayuden, then yeah, whatever. It's probably fine.
Yeah, it's like making a Drakengard without Yoko Taro, which they had done, and it was terrible.
Yeah.
It's true. Drakengard 2. It was not made with Yoko Taro, and it was terrible. No one talks about it.
Yeah.
Fans basically just like don't acknowledge that game's like existence.
Yeah.
It's just Drakengard 1 and then just jumps to 3. That's
But
it.
if it's just like a collection where they're not really messing with the game itself, then it's
Mhm.
probably going to be okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Konami has so many IPs, just like so many IPs that
Mhm.
if they go down this path and they remake a lot of games, they're gonna make a lot of people very happy.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they done it with
And
the Ninja Turtles games, and they did it with well, now Konami's Suikoden.
right.
What else did they do this with? There was another one recently.
I mean, I'm sure they've done some Castlevania things, right? So yeah, I can't think of the top of my head. But I just think that if they could just not mess this up. For me, first of all, let's be realistic. Like they have a lot of profit, to be had, and
Hmm.
that's all good and fine. That's what companies do. Um, but also they'll make a lot of people happy, and that's as much as I can hope for. Just stop stuffing things that no one asked for, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about
Hmm.
examples of that later on.
All right. We
All
got
right,
one more, well, two more
two more.
comments
Yeah.
actually here.
Hmm.
So this one came from Dylan Drever, who says, I loved the used cars salesman joke from the beginning. We all knew where you were going with it, but but you just delivered it so confidently and deadpan. Loved it. Well,
Yep.
thank you so much.
Mm.
I try my best to. It's difficult to not laugh at my own jokes sometimes.
I
Gotta
have
maintain
no
that complete deadpan delivery. Yeah.
I have no allies.
Yep.
I can't just no. You're wrong, Dylan. But thank you. But you're wrong. Get out of here, Dylan. Last but not least, we've got our friend Freddie Ken,
Mm-hmm.
who says the Legend of Heroes Sano Kiseki Northern War will be an original side story which will play between Cold Steel 2 and Cold Steel 3. Because we were asking about this. Oh, when does this take place? The Northern War is often mentioned in Cold Steel 3 and 4, and some details of why it happened and how it ended is disclosed in the game, but the game kind of just like glosses over exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So we will find out in the anime. This is in reference to the anime that's coming soonish.
Yeah. So it
Yeah, I don't
sounds
think
like
they
I can.
announced the exact date
Oh,
yet, but it's coming. It's
yeah.
in production.
So based on that, it sounds like maybe we could actually just kind of enjoy watching it because it sounds like it doesn't spoil anything. Could
Yeah.
probably just watch it regardless of whether you've seen Northern or Cold Steel or played Cold Steel yet. And since it's only like mentioned in passing anyway.
That's what I'm hoping for, because a lot of times these animes they'll have like tied-ins to another property.
Hmm.
The way that they do is they expect you to have enjoyed that property and then come to watch this thing, but that usually doesn't do well. And
Hmm.
it's one of those Hollywood's live action situation where like they just keep doing the same thing. It seems like they just never learned their mistake, and you don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that this is not going to be the case. I'm hoping that they've learned from their mistake. We can't just throw people into the thing and just expect them to just get it.
Yeah.
Like Advent Children is probably one of the best example. If you've never played FF7, you're just
Yeah.
like, what the heck is this? Nothing makes sense. Even if people would play
Hmm.
FF7, but it's so long ago, nothing makes sense about
You
that
know,
movie.
I
But it
think
was
that
such a
this.
great looking movie.
I think that this dovetails kind of nicely into this old conversation we had several episodes ago, talking
Mhm.
about how anime has kind of switched gears somewhat lately from being a uh, it has shifted from being like a supplementary thing
Hmm.
to the manga, uh, and that or a thing that sells other products, but it has
Yeah.
become the product at this point that they're trying to
Yeah.
sell. And I think that because of that shift, maybe we'll see a shift in how this sort of thing gets made. So
Let's hope so.
I'm hoping that
Yeah.
this is going to be made to help bring people into the games.
Yeah. Let's
That would
hope so.
be very
I
nice.
think that would be the smart way to do it. But again, it's just there are all these things that they do that even a layman can tell them is a bad idea. But maybe they're just blinded because they're like, in a certain position. They don't see like the big picture. I don't know what it is. But
All right. Well,
so,
before we move on, I do want to mention since we're talking about our friend Freddie Ken, thank you again, Freddie, for those chapters that you provided the other day. Again, making my life easy. I love it. Thank you so much, dude.
thank you, Freddie.
Also,
All
we
right.
have no voicemails, unfortunately, this week, but you can leave us a voicemail
No
if you would so
voicemail.
desire at 785-337-3805, and we'll play it around this point in the show next week if you do. If you've got any burning questions or just any comments you want to throw at us, we'll play it on the air and respond. Otherwise, we'll be responding to super chats and everything else at the end of the episode today. So,
That's right.
without further ado, let's dive into the real meat and potatoes.
All right, let's talk about some update to a previous release. We've got ourselves a Soul Hackers 2. Atlas has announced that there would be a huge patch coming for November for Soul Hackers 2. This has recently been released, and already there's a huge patch. And I'm really liking what they're bringing. So the new patch will bring in a new dash function in dungeons and fields for Ringo, and also a turbo mode for battle. It's like, yes, every game should have turbo mode. Just like press
Yeah.
the button. Just like, yes, please. Just I need to move forward with this thing. Especially when battles become just a little repetitive and you just like want to like zoom through. Yeah,
Yeah.
it will be coming in November. Some QOL adjustments. Some things maybe just didn't align right, and minor things, lots of minor things to make your life better. And also for new demons, the Soul Hackers version Pixie, Neko Shogun, Aitawarasu, and also Isis will be coming in this November patch. So all you
Awesome.
SMT fans out there, rejoice! New functions are coming.
I'm actually very excited about this. I do think that it came out a little bit later than a lot of people would have probably preferred because
Mhm.
at this point, a lot of people are probably just wrapping up their playthrough of Soul Hackers 2. But this will make New Game Plus, if there is a New Game Plus, much more accessible. There are people like Baku and I who have dabbled with it, but haven't actually had a chance to dive all the way in. I will say
Oh
though
no,
that
I haven't even dabbled with it. I was just showing how it's still in like
oh,
film, like
mhm,
it's
still
still
in the
wrapped.
shrink. Yeah.
There are people like me who just hasn't gotten to it yet. So,
Yeah.
but I
That's
will.
That's fair. And
Yeah.
I will say that with my time that I did play in Soul Hackers 2, those two things
Mhm.
did feel somewhat absent when I transitioned from playing SMT5, right?
Mhm.
Because those things were present before, and I loved the
Mhm.
heck out of them. And it just felt a little weird that
Mm.
you couldn't quite do that in even the PS4 version of the game.
Yeah.
It felt like there was an auto mechanic, but it just was a little too slow, a little too flashy, and I was like, I could really stand for this to be sped up a bit, you know.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, it would be weird to not have it in this game, but have it in SMT5. Was it? Do you know if those functions came from launch, or
I don't
was it also later patched in?
know. They were, I believe, available at launch because I was actually playing SMT5 initially prior to its official launch. It was one of those games
Huh.
that I actually got an early access code for back in the day. Um, so
Eric's flexing.
not not
just
intentionally,
just just a tad bit. Yeah,
but
no, but that must have been built in then. So yeah, it is weird that
mhm,
So Hacker didn't have it, but hey, they're bringing it and it's free. What I like about this is, number one, this is sort of like what updates are for.
yeah,
Like, oh, we have these cool functions. Just it's a little late, but better late than never,
Yeah,
right?
but it's not
It's
game
free. Just take it.
breaking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the other thing that I do like about this is that they didn't make like I don't know, Soul Hackers 2 Royal Deluxe
Yeah,
with
not
these
yet.
functions.
Not yet.
It's just a free patch that they
Yeah.
just give it to you. It's
But
like,
it is
nice.
Atlas we're
Thank you.
talking about.
It
So
is
there's
Atlas.
a pretty strong possibility that we'll at some point get the Ultra Deluxe edition
Oh, jeez.
in 2 years, and we'll have to replay it all to find out what actually happened.
With new endings. Yes.
Yep, exactly. All right.
Dang
Well,
it.
let's go ahead and move along here then to the games that are coming out this week, and
Yes.
we've got one that
One.
have really struck on our radar at the moment, and it is called Manafinder. This is a description from the Steam page. In a world vastly untapped by mankind, powerful beasts from roam the land. A community of survivors, the exiles, depend on the power of mana stones to keep their settlements safe. Mana finders like Lambda risk their lives seeking said stones in the wild. Against external threats and internal conflicts, the mission starts becoming increasingly complicated. Can Lambda achieve a miracle? Find out next time in Mana Finder Z. Okay, that last part wasn't in the description. I just added that. But we do have a trailer though, if you want to see more of what this game has on offer here.
Yes.
All
Let's
right.
take a look at that.
All right, let's.
Yeah, we looked at this game previously, but this is like a new, like, just like
This is
release
the launch trailer.
I guess. Yeah. So, so the developer actually reached out to Derek and myself, and so it's pretty cool of them. Sent us some what is it called, like a press kit, what have you. We chat a little bit about the game. I thought about, sometimes people ask like, hey, do you ever plan on bringing some creators onto the show and to talk to them? It's like, I thought about it. I really did. I'm like, this is a good opportunity. But hey, if those are things that you all might be interested in, maybe we can reach out to some of these devs and just have them come on, just have a chat, talk a little bit about their games. So they reached out. I will actually be testing this game myself this Wednesday. In fact, it will be on release day. Yes.
Nice.
I'll be testing this on release day, so if you guys want to come by and hang out, just see a little bit of what this game's about.
That'll be on your Twitch channel, that is?
On my Twitch channel, yeah. I'll be playing this a little bit. Obviously, I don't want to go too far because you did buy the game. but I'll be testing it out. So
it does look pretty interesting. I like the battle animations a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's got a pretty interesting art style. I think I mentioned it before.
Is this Flappy Bird? Are you gonna make me play Flappy Bird?
Am
I
looks a
gonna
little
regret
different.
my decision with that?
It looks maybe
Flappy
more like
Birds.
Radius or something.
No. Did you see the thing?
Oh yeah, I saw
just
that.
now?
That looks really cool.
Oh, you think it's more like a side scroll shooter situation?
That was
I
my
think I
impression.
saw that.
Yeah.
There you go, a Manafinder. Very nice.
All
From
right.
Wolf's Den. All right. So yes.
All right. So that's pretty much all that's coming out that really caught our eye this week. So in that case, shall we move along to the new stuff that got announced this week?
Yes. So I actually just swapped a little bit on this one because I kind of want to talk about it because I played this game and absolutely loved it. I didn't think I was going to see this news, but here we are. We're going to talk about The Witcher's House MV. So Dangan Entertainment just announced that it will be releasing this indie cult classic digitally onto PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. In this game, you will play as Viola, who must solve various puzzles to escape the witch's house. It is a fairly short title with multiple endings. It's got a good amount of horror into it. It's one of those RPG maker game. But it's been remade with the MV engine, and it was released a couple years ago on Steam, but now it is coming to console. So it's worth talking about it a little bit again, and we do have a trailer for it. just so you have an idea what this game looks like.
All right, let's take a
It's
look.
gonna be on this one.
I like the look of the pixel art. That is,
Yeah, they completely redid the art. They redid the music. Used the new engine.
reminds me a lot of a certain Corpse Party so far.
Yes. As a matter of fact, I think it's in that same vein of Corpse Party.
Good.
Similar engine, similar. I won't say similar theme, but like, in many ways, you are still trying to solve a kind of a mystery and try to avoid death.
Yeah.
So I think it is from that same like game develop like movement, but just in a different like story. So yeah, so if you are a fan of Corpse Party, you're gonna like something like this. We think. Many ways to die.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's part of it, right?
Many ways to die.
Oh, no.
Also, like really cool twists and turns in this game. I don't want to say more, but like if you think this is a straightforward situation, it is not. Find out in The Witcher's House MV. Now, this game, again, is immediately available on PC via Steam, but if you're a console player and you reject the idea of a gaming PC,
Why are you
can
talking
definitely
about me
get
like
this
that?
game on console, on PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch on October 13th, which is coming very soon.
All right, awesome. Yeah. All right, well, that's just in time for Spooktober. I wonder.
Just in time for Spooktober.
Gosh, maybe I should take a quick detour through. I mean, no. That's maybe.
Are you also going to be doing Spooktober? If
I
you
mean, I
would like to watch Derek stream nothing but horror game in October.
I haven't played or reviewed a Halloween RPG in years, and I gosh, if I do something short and sweet, maybe I could. Anyways, I'll think about it. But before we think too much further about that, we got another game that was announced. So this was announced by publisher Whisper Games, and they're going to be releasing the side-scrolling action RPG called. Hang on, let me zoom in so I can read this a little better. Astlibra Revision.
I think it's Astlibra.
Astlibra?
Yeah, like AST and then Libra.
Okay, yeah. It's I had to zoom in. I gotta get my reading glasses on here. Astlibra
You didn't get your eyes
Revision.
checked, sir.
I just did, actually.
Oh my god.
I know. Anyways, maybe I just need a bigger monitor. Called Astlibra Revision. Anyways, this remaster version of the 2011 browser game Astlibra will come with higher resolution, enhanced character controls, event skip abilities, new skills, new dungeons, and a new postscript chapter entitled The Star Eaters.
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at how they do. I wonder if they have a pronunciation guide for Astlibra.
Possibly. Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Astlibra.
Astlibra.
Yes,
Astlibra.
that's.
We'll try not to get you into trouble.
It's got a name that just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Is this a hipster game or Hisper game?
Whisper with a WH. Like you're saying the word whiskey.
I could have sworn it said hipster game. I was like, oh no. You know what? It gave me a slight like old East like vibe. I think it's the UI. The UI is giving me like the older like East, like vibe. Yeah,
where it's got like the frame. That definitely kind of has that. That looks honestly for what used to be a browser game, that looks a lot better than I expected.
No, it's because they redone a lot of stuff. I bet. It's got a little bit of that paper doll thing. Oh wait, did they just say the name of the game just now?
I don't think so.
I could have sworn they did. Yeah. But I was gonna say it does have a little bit of that paper like mechanic.
A little bit, but they're small enough.
But aesthetics. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the sprites are small enough and
Yeah.
like quick enough that it's not a huge issue.
What? Just,
What was that?
Did that really happen just now?
I think it did. Okay.
Well, I just,
That's
in some sense they're really taking it old school, huh? They're just it's like stuff that they would do in like the 80s and 90s that you don't think they will ever do again, and here we are. Well, well,
that was certainly a thing that happened. Oh, they said it.
yeah, see,
Astlibra.
Astlibra. There you go. That's the correct pronunciation. Astlibra. You have to whisper it.
You gotta make sure you pronounce the T though, because
Astlibra.
it's like Rick Astlibra, like Rick Astley, right?
Oh, jeez.
Astlibra's never gonna give you up and never
It
gonna
actually
let you
looked
down.
It looked pretty good.
It did.
You know, we've been seeing a lot of platform RPGs. So hey, if y'all into platformers, that's another one for you.
So Rick Astlibra is never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down. Starting on the 13th of this month here, coming to PC via Steam.
Yes.
And yeah, that's actually, I think that's a good way to remember how to pronounce it. Astlibra.
Oh,
It's just Rick. That's how I'm gonna remember it now. It's Rick Astlibra. There we go. Perfect. All right.
All right.
Move on to our next one here. What do we got?
For so Astrolab Games
Oh, okay.
is developing a chibi adventure RPG called Souls of Chronos. This game takes place 15 years after an event known as the Apocalypse. Wow, not very.
Here, let me try that for you.
Definitely.
The apocalypse.
Thank you. Definitely not very creative, but okay. The player will play as Sid, who is facing impending death, and Tori, who has the ability to manipulate time. So it sounds like there is a pair of characters that you will be playing 15 years after the apocalypse. So we do have a trailer if you want to take a look at that.
All right, let's take a look at what it looks
See
like
what
in
world
the.
looks like 15 years after the apocalypse. Because, you know, the whole point of the apocalypse is that there is no world after it, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, technically, the apocalypse is
wrong
just.
wrong bit.
Oh,
I
you
got
are
it.
correct. Oh, thank you.
I got it.
Technically, the apocalypse is. Yeah. Oh wait, I was thinking of Armageddon. Never mind. I was gonna say Armageddon's just a battle at the Megiddo Mountain, right? But yeah,
No, there's
okay.
your chibi.
Hey, that
How's
looks
that for
kind of
art
nice.
style?
I dig
It's
it.
cute.
It's very cute.
Kind of reminds me of like lower budget games from like the 90s, like 90s, like there's a lot of 90s PC games that you know that are exclusive in Asia that would use these kind of like chibi art.
Like I'm thinking like Maple Story.
A lot of them are like tactical RPG.
I was thinking Maple Story for some reason when you said that, but
Yeah, something like that. But it does give me that feel.
some of that art also has a little bit of a. Man, that was a very short trailer.
Good, because we had some long ones.
That is true. That was quite a
was
nice
good.
paced trailer.
Yeah, anywhere between a minute to 2 minutes, I think is pretty fair game. That was like 1 minute and 5 seconds, so not bad. Yeah. So that is Souls of Chronos. We saw a little bit of gameplay. It is definitely a chibi game for sure. So if you're not into that art style, this might not be the right thing for you. But
I
we
mean,
do want to share a diverse kind of RPGs for a diverse viewership.
To be fair, on the Super Nintendo, that's all we had. And like on the NES, it was all chibi. So it's like
that is fair, but without the giant heads. That was like,
dude, have you looked at Secret of Mana
chibi.
lately? Like it's
I mean-
legitimately like one square is a head and the other square is the body. It is
I mean,
chibi, you know.
I
And
mean,
especially Dragon Warrior, like the original SNES Dragon
oh
Warrior
yeah,
games. Yeah.
absolutely,
Or
absolutely.
yeah, where it's
But
like yeah. So yeah,
but
if you're not
yeah.
used to that stuff, just think of it that way. It's not a bad way to go.
No, I like the style personally, but then again, my taste definitely differs from a lot of folks. But so there is no release date for this game. It has not been announced yet, but a demo is actually already available on
Okay.
Steam. So if you want to give it a shot, head right on over to their Steam page and you can download the demo. So obviously because it's on Steam, it's available for PC, but this title is also being developed for consoles. So stick around, stay tuned for more information to come.
All right. And during Tokyo Game Show coverage, we ended up talking about a new partnership between Koei Tecmo's Omega Force and EA to create
Oh,
a
jeez,
new
EA.
hunting game.
Yes.
And I, for some reason, the first thing that came to my mind was like a Cabela's style game, like Big Game Hunter. No, but
Duck
I don't.
Hunt, come on.
I don't think that's what it was. And according to this, Wild Hearts is actually what they were kind of referring to, and it takes place in
Yes.
Azuma, a fantasy world that is based on feudal Japan.
Mhm.
And in this world, Hunter battles, or kimono, not kimono, but kemono.
Yeah, Kemono, yeah.
Um, a Japanese word for beast, using something called a seed of invention. So,
Yes.
kind of a interesting concept so far, but we have a trailer accompanied with this as well.
A trailer.
Yeah.
Did they not make the trailer available for TGS? Did they just missed it? I mean,
That must have been it. I bet this was
Yeah.
meant to
ooh,
be
look at that.
shown. Okay. Yeah, this is looking
Yeah,
a little
so
more
so that's
soulsy.
what that seed of creation is. Like you just it almost feels like this is gonna be like a mix between like Fortnite and what is that game called?
Monster Hunter Souls.
Monster Hunter.
Okay.
Like, so you saw how like they just created like a set of things and then just like climbed up and attack. So that's what like that seed of invention is supposed to be about.
Okay. Well,
Oh, look at
let's
that,
see
look
if
at
I can
that.
see more of this in action here.
Sneaking into a giant like boar. Person is fighting with an umbrella because that makes sense. Of course.
Sure.
Did you guys know that umbrella is one of the ultimate weapons?
Of course.
Yeah, this
I've known that
definitely
ever since Princess
very
Peach
versatile.
started hitting me with it in Smash Bros. A long time ago.
Yeah, a katana, a bow and arrow, and umbrella. Of course.
Of course.
Yeah, I can definitely see like the Monster Hunter in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's a seed of invention. This is Bill stuff.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah, that's where the
Interesting.
Fortnite element I think is coming in, or some Fortnite elements coming in.
Didn't they remove some of the building aspects from Fortnite recently?
I have no idea. I don't Fortnite.
Me neither. That's
I mean,
why
I've
I'm
seen
asking.
the game played. I've seen my friends played it. I don't know enough to speak on it. I just know that like you can build like a fort like mid battle to like give yourself like some kind of like view
Sure.
advantage and stuff. So
Yeah,
that's like
have
part of
cover
the game.
and stuff. Sure.
And like how you're building here, that's also part of the game. You'll build out these like walls and platforms and siege weapons against the
Yeah.
monsters that you're fighting like real time, just like at incredible speed, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks pretty good, but then it's Koei Tecmo, so
Sure.
but then EA, and I'm just like
So I mean, to start with, I don't think I was the target demographic. Like clearly they're aiming for two people, right? Some overlap. They saw, hey, Monster Hunter Rise, that's making bank. And then Fortnite, that's making bank. What if we combine the two? And then maybe we
That's
could
what
make
it
bank.
feels like.
It feels
without the PvP, but EA is handling the publishing, so don't write out PvP just yet.
yeah. Just because I haven't shown it yet doesn't mean it won't exist.
Yeah, I mean, if you think Monster Hunter gameplay is all you've got, I wouldn't write it out because it's EA.
Yeah. Well, anyways, they are
We'll
announcing
see.
that this is going to be available on PlayStation 5, the Xbox
Yes.
Series X, S, and PC starting
Yes.
on the 17th of February next year. So it's really
Yes.
just around the corner.
Oh
But
yeah.
so, I
Which
mean,
is
hey, if you're interested, if you're into the Monster Hunter series, and I'm assuming a lot of everybody here is,
Mhm.
myself excluded from that, then yeah, this could be pretty interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how it does because it is pulling some very unique aspects from two very successful franchises and just kind
Mhm.
of trying to mash them together. I'm curious to see how that would work. I mean, at least aesthetically, looks cool.
Yeah, it could work or fail spectacularly
Hmm.
for many reasons, but we'll reserve judgment until it comes out and we'll see. I mean, so far it looks good. I'm also not part of demographics, but
Hmm.
hey, this is a huge game that's coming and we're not gonna not talk about
Yeah, for sure.
it. Yeah, but it looks fantastic. Koei Tepco again makes lots of fantastic games, so there's that quality, like seal quality
Yeah.
there.
We'll just have
But
to see
EA still,
if their talent and abilities outweigh the greed of EA ability to screw things up. We'll see.
we'll see if they're random boxes, because boy, there are random boxes. All right, so that's all the games that we have. Announcements. Yes, I know we're gonna go into a bit of a dry spell, because TGS had just happened, and then yeah, I
Hmm.
mean even last week we had a good amount of games, but it's
Yeah.
gonna dip a little bit, right?
Yeah, there
That's
were
just
some indies who I feel
yeah.
like they held out pretty well after TGS to like kind of because anything that they put out during TGS, if you're not like a big studio, is a very
Mm-hmm.
high likelihood of getting trampled. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Yeah.
holding off was a good idea.
Yeah, it's a cyclical nature of the news cycle, but
Yeah.
we should be able to pick up some stuff now. But you know what? We do have a lot of that aren't game announcements, industry news. And starting with
Ah.
this new industry news, we've got Guilty Gear Strive. So Arc System Works announced that they will be opening a beta test for PS4, 5, and PC for the crossplay function for their newest fighting entry, Guilty Gear Strive. The crossplay beta client will be a separate piece of software
Mhm.
than from the available full game. So if you want to try it out, this standalone client, it is free. You can download it on the respective platform. The beta client features 21 playable characters, including the latest character, Bridget, who's caused quite a stir for anyone who's been keeping up with the news. The test will begin on October 13th, 2022, and end on the 17th. So you will have how many days? 5 days, basically, 13 to 17 to play this game. So yes, while you can download for free and try it, it is definitely not going to be free forever.
Wow.
Please.
Yeah.
But yes, you will have to download a new client. So hey, if you've got friends from across the states, you guys love fighting games, but for whatever reason you've got a PC master race and a console plebe want to play together, how dare you? This crossplay function aims to bridge that gap. I hope this is successful. I would like to see more cross-platform games, cross-play
Oh yeah.
ability. Yeah. So I'm actually all for it. So hoping that this will be a great result for our system works.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm also excited for more crossplay opportunities for the games where I do actually play online, which are very few and far between.
Hmm.
It just, yeah, it kind of sucks to be limited as to who you can play with depending on which platform you have, right? So, yeah, cool. So,
Hmm.
now I think we're going to start talking about some less cool decisions, and we're just going to be clowning on the industry for the next few episodes or next few sessions. I think, starting with, hey, did you guys know that E3 is dead? Well, it's back again. The Entertainment Software Association have announced that E3 will return again next year in June between the 13th and 16th of next year, which marks the first in-person show since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Repop, who handles events like PAX and New York Comic Con, will be organizing the event, which bodes pretty well. But at this point, I think we've talked about it before, and I'm just, is there actually a void here that needs filling? I don't know. I'm curious, but I kind of feel like we've moved on beyond E3 at this point with all of the various different like state of play, Nintendo Directs. Like we're getting more new game events these days than we had like when it was just like one big one every year. Like everybody kind of has their own. And now TGS was incredible, right? Do we need an E3?
Yeah, I don't. Well, here's the thing, right?
Mhm.
I don't. Here's the thing that I don't really get, right? Why was TGS so successful, and then that game con or something, the summer game con? I forgot what
Yeah.
it was. There
Yeah.
was a couple. It just like didn't hit the mark.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that's the case. I mean, it's something in
Yeah,
between
what is
all
it that
these state of
that
play
separates
and
these? And I think it has to do with just s- probably like what kind of games they're bringing to the show. What kind of
yeah.
what the I guess there's some prestige that needs to be built up for
Mhm.
game developers to want to hold off on their trailers to release at the big show, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
TGS has that prestige because it's been going on for decades now, right? Um,
For quite a while, yeah.
yeah, they've got a following. Like we're
Mhm.
not in Tokyo, but we're definitely tuning in for TGS.
Mhm.
Um, E3 used to have that prestige, but is there a
Mhm.
Western event that still does? I mean, of course, like things like PAX was always kind of cool and fun, but it wasn't huge. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of want to see how Repop will handle the event.
mhm,
Um, so for example, if from my mind, because we covered TGS, obviously there was the whole Nintendo Direct, and then like they did not wait. They fired shots, right?
yeah,
In but for whatever reason they still withheld information that then showed on TGS, which means that they do more or less respect the event,
yeah,
and in fact probably timed their respective shows around TGS. And I don't think that is in competition with TGS. It was in
no,
tandem with
hmm,
TGS. It's more
absolutely,
like here's a preview of what you can see from our own event.
yeah,
That's kind of how I felt, especially because I was telling Derek, I was like, um, it's just such an odd timing for them to do the Nintendo Direct and State of Play so
hmm,
close to each other and just right before TGS. And then what I wanted to analyze was, are they trying to sync TGS or is this something else, right? Like,
yeah,
are they trying to prove that TGS has no plays, that their shows are just that much better and there is really no need for it, and just want people to just be disappointed by
yeah,
TGS? And I didn't find that to be the case
no,
because I found so many new bits of information from TGS that
yeah,
were not available in Nintendo Direct or State of Play or the RGG showcase.
hmm,
They're like, well, you saw this in our State of Play. Here is more. Here's like the expanded version. Here are the demos that you can play and try. And I don't think that's done out of disrespect.
yeah.
So I feel like they are still working in tandem with the show. Can E3 be something like this? I think I want to be able to see,
I
especially
think,
now that Reed Pop is stepping
mhm.
in to organize the show, and they do have a great track record with PAX and the New York Comic Con.
I think
We'll
that it
see.
can be. I think
Yeah.
that uh,
So
it
don't write
can
it
be
off just
depending
yet.
on the developers, though, because
Yeah.
what TGS leaves out of the equation are all of the American developers, right? And
Hmm.
I'm trying to think of who is E3 for. Not necessarily like for the consumer side of things, because I feel like we kind of know who that is. It's for
Mhm.
whoever the fans are of the games that are announced, really. But
Right.
who's going to be bringing their games? It's probably going to be EA. I would say Activision. You know,
Hmm.
it's gonna be the people that you're used to seeing at like the Game Awards. You
Hmm.
know, it's gonna be a lot of Microsoft people who Microsoft just bought up. So I don't know if yeah, does Microsoft even have their own like state of play or Nintendo Direct? Do they?
Microsoft, not that I know of. And
Yeah.
I've always listening for these kind of things, so
Hmm.
no, not that I know of.
I don't think I've
Yeah.
either they have them and I haven't heard of them, which
Hmm.
bodes very poorly, or they just don't have them. And
Well,
that
I mean, yeah,
and
I don't
mhm,
think they have like their own thing. They always
yeah,
tag on to,
some
other
other
game events
event.
like the summer game
Yeah.
show, or
And I think that
whatever
that
that
is
thing is called.
ultimately that's who E3 is has the ability to be for. That is who they can make this event for,
Hmm.
and
I
then they can
wonder if
have it
that's
sponsored
coming
by
back
Mountain
in
Dew and
2023.
Doritos and all that.
Yeah, well, Pepsi. You mean Pepsi?
No,
PepsiCo? Yeah.
no.
No. Yeah, no, I wonder if that summer game show is going to come back next year because that was supposed to be the E3 killer. It's like, who needs E3? We're here. And then it was like half the games were like space shooters. And we're just like, really now? Like, you're supposed to be the E3 killer that everyone is just kind of hoping for? Yeah, it was a dud. Like,
All right.
we didn't get anything great out of that show. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. All
All right.
right. So, speaking of dunking on giant companies, Stadia. Let's talk about Stadia. Yeah. So something that no one ever asked for, which is cloud gaming. Nintendo, if you're listening, RIP Stadia. Less than 4 years after its launch, Google is finally killing off the underwhelming Stadia project. And here's a quote from Google Vice President and Stadia General Manager Phil Harrison saying, "While Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected." End quote. No, no crap.
They could
It's
how
just
who could have
no one
possibly have
asked
seen
for
this
this.
coming?
Huh?
How could they
Yeah.
possibly have seen this coming?
How could they not have seen that coming, right? I think that's going to be the theme for the next couple of stories we cover. How could you not have seen this coming? Stadia service will end in January 18th of next year. If you're one of the few people who supported Stadia, first of all, props to you for trying to support like a new game movement, even though most of us didn't think it would work. Hey, you're a dreamer, and I support your ability to dream. I do have some good news for you.
Mhm.
Google promised that it would refund customers that purchase hardware through Google Store and content through the Stadia Store. So if you purchase hardware through Google Store or any kind of content through the Stadia Store, you will get your money back. Expect the complete refund by mid-January of next year. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not against like trying new things,
Mhm.
right? It's just even from a layman perspective, we were already saying that this is not going to work out because people, especially in the middle of the country,
Yeah.
won't have internet fast enough to support this anyway.
Yeah.
Like I forgot the pricing model was a little ridiculous, and it's just they want the subscription thing to work so badly. They just want you to just subscribe. They don't want you to buy a thing and be done with it. They want you to subscribe so you don't have to own anything other than, well, the Stadia.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and like this is the last thing you ever own for gaming is what they thought would happen. It turns
Well,
out people like to just own their games and just play it without being online. I don't know. Crazy.
yeah,
Shocker.
it's just I how does Google and the developers over at Google not like I mean they're marketing people. Like that's what they do is they sell ads. How did they not market this well? Like how They
I mean, is it a marketing problem or is it a we don't need this problem? Is it
little bit
an
of
over
column A, a little bit
engineered
of
product?
column B. But you've
Yeah.
heard of people who could sell, 4 slot toasters to a single dude, living in his apartment, right? Like there you can sell people stuff they don't need. Like
I
my
mean,
entire
okay.
backlog is a testament to that fact. I mean, you could sell like you can market something
Hmm.
really nicely and sell several hundred units and, or 100 units, thousands, millions of units.
Hmm.
Um, it it's I think it's got to be a marketing thing because there are people out there who have Google Fiber,
Hmm.
heck, they could throw in Google Stadia with customers of Google Fiber, and that's like, a great way to sort
Did
of
they
do some
not
like
though? Did they
influencer
not try
marketing.
that?
I don't
Did they
know.
try that? I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know, but
know.
they could
I
have.
haven't really followed the whole Stadia saga. I just knew that it wasn't working. I
Uh-huh.
knew that I wasn't one of their customers, so I just kind of didn't care
Yeah.
about Stadia.
Yeah, it just
Um,
requires like a really low ping, and not everybody has that ability. And, you know, Starlink is doing a lot of great things for people who have like really not great access to internet all
mhm.
around the world, but the ping is its weakest point. Like, so
Yeah.
you'll have people who are, that's their internet access is either dial up or satellite, which is awful, or Starlink, which is better, but still not capable for that sort of use case. So,
I just don't know
I
what
don't know.
like market segment they were fighting for, right? Let's think about it, right? Like we're saying, there's the middle of the country. There's a lot of people
Mhm.
who may or may not game, but they don't have great internet access because that's just not close to the big city. Internet company has not spent millions and millions building out the cables out there. So they just have bad service. That's just reality, right? And you
Mhm.
need strong internet to connect to their servers to play anything real time, right?
Yeah.
And that's just not feasible,
Yeah.
right? So that leaves the people who live by the coast, basically, right? And people who live in those areas, now you have to contend against traditional consoles, PS4, PS5, Switch, who they also have some kind of streaming service already,
Yep.
plus PCs with Steam client. Let's not even talk about all the other clients, just Steam
Yeah.
client.
Sure.
It's just Steam, and you have to buy a new hardware for it, which why?
Yeah.
Like who are you
Well,
trying
you
to
don't have
compete
to.
against?
There are
Yeah.
people who can play via browser, or were once upon a time via Google Chrome. You could play
Hmm.
Stadia uh with a controller and stuff. It's just,
Didn't you
yeah.
still need to buy the Stadia controller? I thought
No,
I thought that's still a thing.
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
think I think you could bring your own, but like the Stadia controller was a way to help reduce lag because it was directly internet connected. Um,
Gotcha.
so, but yeah, the other issue I think is that the internet that supports something like Stadia is enthusiast grade internet, and
Really?
your enthusiasts are the ones who uh, dabble in hardware and are already
Hmm.
invested in a console of some sort. So until until I think they could make something like Stadia that could just appeal to casual gamers and people who have medium tier internet instead of like,
Yeah.
the good stuff. It's I don't know. I mean, at some point it will probably have its place. It's just um, they probably weren't wrong. They were just too early. You know, that's
Yeah.
that's probably the nicest way to say that.
Yeah. Just that they were overestimating demand and overestimating how great people's internet would be. And you know what? A part of me thinks that this is coming from like the ivory throne, right?
Hmm.
Like the ivory tower,
Yeah, yeah.
rather. Like,
Google can do no wrong. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. They're
all
huge.
the programmers who worked on that have this kind of like internet speed. They can't fathom people having slower speed than 10 gigabyte.
Hmm.
That's not reality. It's like
And this
uh
this this whole story ties in so nicely to the next one because speaking of
it
every
does.
problem that we just talked about,
Mhm.
Netflix is announcing that they're going to do everything that we just talked about. Uh, Seemingly undeterred by Stadia's demise, Netflix have announced that it will be launching its own in-house game studio in Helsinki, Finland. It is currently not known what the game titles will be that are being developed for the studio or which platform, but it'll likely be played through the Netflix app on PC and mobile.
That's
So
right.
more cloud gaming, I guess, most likely. I mean, because
Yeah.
there have been rumors about that since Stadia came out, and if Google couldn't really make it work, I'll be very surprised if Netflix can. And if they can, it'll have only been because of the timing difference.
Well,
That's
the
my
one
guess.
thing that Netflix got on Stadia, well, two things. One is it's not coming out scaring people away with, "Hey, you need to buy a new piece of hardware," right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
Netflix kind of have some games right now, but I think the biggest thing is the fact that Netflix has a huge install base with already paying customers, which Google does not.
This is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
It's kind of, I kind of think it's funny that is true because arguably, like, Google should have a pretty good install base because of all the people who are
But
possibly
they're not
using their
paying
various
customers.
exactly, that's the
Yeah, but they're
difference.
not paying
They've got
customers.
users
Google
on
has a lot of
YouTube. They've got
well,
all kinds of stuff. They just have terrible conversion.
well, it was two things, right? Google has a lot of customers, but they
Hmm.
are non-paying customers
Actually,
on the on I want to say civilian side.
I
No,
want to
I mean
say,
on the
yeah, consumer side.
consumer side.
I want to say
Yeah.
flip it because they have paying customers. Those customers just aren't their users.
Well, they have a lot of that's true. But they also have a lot of like enterprise
Yeah,
paying customers.
sure.
Like so, but that does nothing for Stadia. Whereas Netflix is purely entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And so they already have some kind of association. Oh yeah, Netflix, that's entertainment, right? You watch
Hmm.
things.
Yeah.
Now, can they brand themselves as we also allow you to play games, and that's another form of entertainment? I feel like they have a stronger case for it. In fact, they can develop a game with like a show tied all exclusive on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
If they made like a Squid Game video game
Hmm.
because they own Squid Game or whatever, like, I could see that maybe pulling in some people. Maybe if it's
Yeah.
able to actually draw in exclusives. Stadia
Hmm.
did Stadia have exclusives?
I don't know. I didn't
I
really.
I
I
don't.
think they wanted to do it. In fact, I think they reached out to. I think they reached out to. They reached out to Kojima for
Okay.
an exclusive. So this is not included in this news because this is just kind of a rumor mill situation.
Uh
So,
huh.
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But it's been said that that Google had actually reached out to Kojima to try to get an exclusive game. So Kojima wrote up a plan and submitted to Google, and then Google rejected it because it was a single player game and they didn't want a single player game. And this idea that Kojima worked on will become a title in the future. So the
Oh.
rumor goes.
Okay.
So he hasn't abandoned it. He's making it through his Kojima's studio. It just isn't a Stadia exclusive. So they've at least reached out to people to do it. Did they actually bring any exclusive in these last 4 years? I would be surprised if they didn't. But
I'm
I
gonna Google
also
this
don't
actually.
think they did any like large studio exclusives. They're probably all like smaller studio exclusives. So whether or not
Um.
people care about that, that's probably not enough seeing how Stadia is going away. But Netflix, in-house studio. So interesting stuff. Here's another piece of news that we're not really going to talk about, but I'm just going to touch on. So remember how we talked about what's that game called? Cyberpunk 2077?
Mhm.
Is it 2077?
Yeah.
Okay. I get the year wrong. So that was like a huge deal, right? Everyone was anticipating this amazing game. It came out, it kind of flopped.
Yeah.
It kind of hurt CD Projekt Red reputation quite a
Yeah.
bit. They're working on changing it. Recently, we talked about a well-known anime studio, Trigger, that picked up a new project called Edge Runner, right? So Edge Runner, interestingly enough, um, has gotten great reviews so far,
Oh.
and actually pushed the game to sell more. Uh, well after the the initial like sell period,
Really?
right? So obviously we've been watching game sales figures, over the years. You know how it works. Like
Sure.
the initial period, it just sells like boom, and then it just kind of dies down, but then it just sells like steady for however much time, right?
Sure.
Sometimes there will be spikes, and those are fairly rare. Usually, some kind of nostalgia calls for it, and there's like a small spike here and there. But this is like a huge spike.
Yeah.
So now tying that back to Netflix, right? If they're able to do a successful multimedia project, it could really help them sell a game on their own platform, I think. There's so much things Netflix can do being a streaming service of
Yeah.
multiple media. They can do all kinds of cool tie-ins,
Yeah.
you know?
Imagine a
Uh,
tie-in with the
there's,
Castlevania games after they did their Castlevania anime.
right.
Like that would be pretty all right. Like
Konami would like a cut of that. Yeah,
I bet.
I just think that there's a lot of really cool things that only Netflix can do. And
Hmm.
if they don't take advantage of that, someone needs to get fired if they
Dude,
don't try to take advantage of that.
imagine a Stranger Things RPG.
I think that you know what? Now that I think about it, I think they do have Stranger Things games that are exclusive
Oh,
to Netflix.
huh.
Now that
Interesting.
I think there is. But again, those are the things that I don't really consume, so I don't want to
Yeah.
speak as a matter of fact. But I just feel like there are some cool idea that they can do. Maybe watch the show for a hint to get past in a game, right? Or
Oh, wow.
there's a little nod like in the episode, that little Easter egg here and there, and those
Hmm.
are just small things, and they're fun, and they're cheap. They cost you basically nothing to throw in little Easter eggs here and there. I think it can be done. They just need to, explore and try to get it working. So we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Netflix can continue to make like tie-ins that don't suck, that would be that's the key. That's the trick, right?
Yeah.
Like if the game is great but the show sucks, or vice versa, then it's not going
Hmm.
to work. But if you can somehow, capture lightning in a bottle, you could have a real synergistic effect that could be incredible.
I thought I was gonna be dunking Netflix, but now that I think about it, maybe I'm a little bit more hopeful that for
Okay.
Netflix than
I don't
Google.
This is too positive. Let's move on to our
Yeah,
next.
let's dunk on someone else. Let's talk about Sega, because we're trying to dunk on things. Sega announced a partnership to develop NFT game. All right, here we go. Calm down, guys. Please. Calm down, boys and girls. Speaking of companies being out of touch with releasing things no gamers asked for, Sega just announced that it will be partnering with a Japan-based blockchain firm, Double Jump Tokyo, to develop its own blockchain game using the Sangokushi Tyson IP. Sangokushi Tyson. There you go.
Mhm.
That was a
Okay.
terrible pronunciation earlier. Which is a Japan exclusive collectible card game that has never been released outside of Japan, and that's the reason why I got a little tongue tied. And you have probably never heard of this IP before,
Correct.
but it is a relatively long running IP that at least people in Japan would know what this is about.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense that they would do like an NFT thing
Of a
to
card
it,
game.
because
Yeah.
it's a collectible game, right?
Mhm.
It makes sense. Um,
Where
so
the actual cards are the NFTs and you can actually
the
buy
cards
and
are the
trade and sell
NFTs, so
them.
it does make sense. Like I don't want to scare away from with the NFT. The
Yeah.
only thing that I really like to dunk on them is like, are they? I hope they understand that the NFT market is like basically gone. Like it's really dead. And the only true benefits to NFT again at this point is not value but security,
Right.
and the ability to trade, which they could have done already.
Mhm.
So if they are still going for some kind of proof of work model, which is what Bitcoin does,
Well, it
versus proof
was.
of stake,
I was
which
gonna
is
say
what
Ethereum.
Ethereum is
Yeah.
now switched over to. And I think Dogecoin is also switching to stake of work.
Hmm.
As well, no, not stake, proof
Proof
of
of
stake.
stake. Yeah.
Yeah, stake of work. Then, I am less irritated
Yeah.
about NFT and blockchain stuff as long as it is proof of stake. So
What I
we'll see
will
what that is.
say.
And for greater details on what proof of stake and proof of work is, go Google it. don't don't ask me. I don't know too much about it. I'm no expert in
Hmm.
it. I just know enough to talk about this.
Like what I will say
Um,
about it though is
mhm,
that like you said, because it's a collectible card game, that is
mhm,
something that makes more sense that I'm
yeah.
accustomed to. The
Mhm,
NFT market, as far as like a speculation platform, is definitely dead.
yeah.
Uh, but like you said, there's still the functionality aspect of this, and
Mhm,
I'm not super critical of NFTs in general. I don't think that they're for me. Like I
mhm,
don't own any, and I don't plan to. Uh, but I could definitely see how this could be something of interest if you wanted to, work on your deck building process and have actual
mhm,
cards that you could use. What I do like about this is that sure, you can still trade them, right? And that is something that you could have done with any other platform
mhm.
potentially if it was built in, but by making it on some sort of blockchain like this, it is no longer within the house of Sega to determine if you are able to buy, sell, or trade.
Right.
It can be done external to the company.
Mhm.
They're issuing these things that could, in fact, be used hypothetically by other games that incorporate NFT technology. Like I don't know
Yeah,
why they
I
would do that, but you could maybe if like.
Yeah, I thought about it,
Mhm,
and so what got me thinking about this is one day I was I think the game it was Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Master. I think it was called Duel Master, and
mhm,
all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Fans are gonna scream at me later because I don't
sure.
know my Yu-Gi-Oh! Games. I'm sorry,
Yeah, me neither.
but I think it's Duel Master, the more recent one where you do have to build your deck, and I think it's free to play, so you do have some in-game currency. You get these cards, but you don't own any of the cards. Whereas you actually have the TGS, you
Yeah.
have physical cards you can own. There are a lot of physical card games. Magic the Gathering, of course, everyone knows that one, right? So we have these card games, and so it just makes me think like, why would anyone spend money buying digital cards they don't own when they can just buy the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, which they can own? So maybe the idea is that these NFT in the future can prove that you own a card, a physical card,
Mhm.
so that you can somehow register it and you can use it and play and trade in a virtual platform. So you're
I
not
was.
limited
Mhm.
to playing a card game, in a card
In
store.
game. Yeah.
Yeah, or in the real world. You can
Yeah.
play it on Metaverse,
Yeah.
Facebook. Hey,
Yeah. You could play online.
hey, Meta.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like
Um,
that's kind of
that's
interesting.
how I see this going to in a pro consumer way.
Mhm.
Um, I thought we were gonna dunk on these companies. What's
I
going
know.
on, Derek? We're
I'm
being oddly supportive of them right
I'm not. I
now.
don't want to say supportive. I just think that I'm not gonna say supportive. I'm just gonna wait and see on this.
Mm,
Because
yeah,
like I don't know. There's a lot of ways they could still screw it up, but
yeah. Because I'm trying to think like, what is the point of NFT versus what we have now with the technology that we have now? What could you not do? The only thing that I can imagine that you can't do is trade between people without Sega being a medium.
mhm,
Like, and just trade with you, like right now,
yeah,
like wallet to wallet, and just trade you some cards.
yeah, it's kind of neat.
Um,
And
that's about it.
and
But
then
all
there's
these
no
NFT that's being
counterfeits.
scammed and stolen
There's
too.
no
I'm just
possibility of
like, oof.
counterfeits anymore, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't be like in 20 years there won't be a Jake or Logan Paul or whoever was unboxing the Pokemon cards and finds out that they're all a bunch of fakes, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. There's that.
Mhm.
Like I can prove the authenticity of a physical card
Because
somehow.
it was minted by Sega, right? Like
Yeah.
you have that way to trace it back to the original wallet because of the blockchain.
That's the whole point of NFT is that you can trace ownership.
And then Sega, when certain transactions happen in the millions of dollars for their Black Lotus or whatever, they can still collect a small cut of that if they wanted to, depending on how they set it up, which is kind of interesting as well. But for better or worse, a little anti-consumer mixed in with the pro-consumer side of things. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Wait and see.
We'll see what this trend. I mean, Square Enix is still trying to get into NFT like big time. They sold off companies to raise money to do NFT things. Only you guys remember this. They sold off Crystal Dynamics.
Yep.
They sold off Eidos Canada to do this. Oh, so Eidos Montreal. I'm sorry. All the Canadians are like, no, it's Montreal. You got it wrong.
Got it wrong. That's okay.
Please correct it. Thank you. Because they're Canadian.
Oh yeah, sure.
Please correct yourself. Yes.
Hey, don't make fun of Canadians, okay? Because one day they will rule us, and then we'll all be sorry.
Most of my Twitch viewers are Canadian.
I know.
So I feel like it's just tough love at this point. But yeah, so but I still don't know what Square Enix is trying to do. Like this makes sense to me. Like trading card. If Konami wants to get NFT and do Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, I get it, right? But what the heck is Square Enix doing? They sold like 3 figures so far. There are 3 figures that has NFT tied to it. It's Cloud, Tifa, and Aerith, respectively. Like I just don't know what they're trying to do.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. I mean, I'm curious to see what kinds of utility they can maybe push into it. Rather, because like I said, the speculation side of NFTs is dead. And that's the part where everybody's like just piling in because it's a cash grab, right? That's dead.
Yeah.
There's no more cash to be made because it was just a speculation bubble that popped. Now all that's left is things that could potentially be nice, maybe, or not. We'll see. Just different functionality. Not better or worse, but different.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Hope so. All right. Moving on, sir. What you got?
Oh, I was waiting for you to move on to merch, but I forgot that we have one more piece of information here to go over as well. And that is the 10th anniversary broadcast of Bravely Default.
Yes.
So series producer Tomoyo Asano announced that the Bravely Default team will be hosting a special broadcast for the series' 10-year anniversary. Asano has stated that there will be no game announcements, and that this is strictly just an event to thank fans for their support and maybe discuss the future of the series, but not in like solid terms of, hey, we have a new game coming in the near future, like in the eventual future of the series. The broadcast will feature Tomoyo Asano and producer Masashi Takahashi and designer Naoki Ikushima. So if you are interested, you can visit the YouTube link that will be in the description down below once that has been updated. The event will take place on the 11th of this month of October. So that's just about Tuesday of next week.
Yes, Tuesday next week. Yeah, so pretty cool. You know what I have noticed is that Derek has gotten better at pronouncing Japanese names ever since we've been doing this. I think we've been making you pronounce something like every week.
That's okay. I'm trying.
No, it's good.
I always try to do okay. Like I've been making a concerted effort, so I appreciate you noticing. Senpai.
Y'all should appreciate Derek's effort, guys. Come on.
I appreciate that my senpai notices me,
even if he can't hear it. But yeah, so it's like you said, according to the tweet that Asano sent out, he explicitly said a no game announcement, so don't go in expecting, oh, you didn't talk about a new game, boo. He said that there will be no game announcements.
Yep, just it's basically a developer hangout, and that's cool.
Yeah, so it's great for fans of the series just to come in just to kind of get all warm and fuzzy about the game. And you know what? Bravely Default has been a great series. I am just so surprised that it's been 10 years.
Yeah, that is also pretty crazy to think that. What was the original platform? Was it 3DS or was it originally on
I
DS? Gosh, it's been a while. I think it's 3DS.
think
It's
it's
still 3DS, right?
3DS.
Okay.
The chat will let us know. I think
Yeah.
it's 3DS. I'm pretty sure it's 3DS.
God,
Yeah,
10
but
years ago. Is the
game was
3DS
nice.
is the 3DS 10 years old?
I mean, if
It
this is one
probably
of the
is.
earliest game of 3DS, I believe it.
Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah,
probably
if this
right.
is one of the earliest games for 3DS, then yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are three. I mean, yes, Bravely Default 2 came out, but truly they have came up with 3 Bravely Default game, not including
Yeah.
mobiles.
Okay, it was 3DS.
It's like Bravely Default and then Bravely Default second,
God,
I
I am
think.
getting old.
And then Bravely Default 2, which is not a sequel, but like an actual second title that's separated from the first two. And then and all the meanwhile, that team has worked on other titles that weren't Bravely Default. I think they have a hand in Octopath and what have you. So it's not like they made 3 games in 10 years.
Yeah.
They've been keeping themselves busy, pumping out great games. So love to hear what those guys have to say. So definitely check it out. October 11th. Again, the link will be in description later on.
Yeah.
All
If anything
right. So
noteworthy
that's
happens,
yeah.
we'll tell you guys about it.
Yes.
I doubt it though.
If they lie to us, we will tell you all about it. We'll shame them here on HitPoint. How dare you? Uh, all right. So moving on from industry news, we've got a little bit of merch to talk about.
Mhm.
Rejoice, you degenerates. There will be a new Dakimakura cover featuring Altina, and that will be available for pre-order from now until November 8th. And it will ship out sometime in December of this year. She'll be wearing the top 2 fan-voted outfits: the wedding party dress from Cold Steel 4 and the Black Rabbit costume from Cold Steel 2. Neither
Okay.
games that I have gotten into. In fact, I have no idea who this Altina character is. I just know that she's ultra popular with the fan base because of all the merch that I've seen of her. I
Okay.
know she's like super, super popular.
More popular than Risha? That's
Who?
Risha from
No idea. I haven't
don't know
played
who
the game.
Okay. Okay.
No idea. No, I'm on third right now. I'm on Sky third.
All right.
Derek, please,
All right.
please, with your spoilers. Who is this?
It's just a name.
No, I lied. I bought the Alicia figure, even though I have no idea who she is. I didn't care. No, I do have some idea who she is because I've
Yeah.
seen people play the game. But yeah, but Altina, I have absolutely no idea who she is. I keep seeing her merch pop up in Ami Ami. I'm just like, man, this character's got to be popular, you
All
know?
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's okay, cool. And
Yeah.
it's only how much now?
The cover will be selling for 13,800 yen, which is roughly $95. Very affordable for a pillow cover, you
for
degenerates.
a pillowcase.
Yeah, a pillowcase. They voted for this. They voted for this. The fans voted for this. All you degenerates wanted this, and they delivered.
Okay.
I'll provide some links on how you can like order it and stuff.
$100 pillowcase that everybody's just gonna mess up.
Listen, devoted fans have paid for worse things for more money. I don't even think this is like too terrible.
Okay. All right. It's at least it's not like a $12,000 statuette or something.
It is not a $12,000 statue of Terra. Oh my god, I'm still mad about that.
I know, that's
I am
still crazy.
Still mad about that.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much, Baku, for that information. Now we do have
welcome.
some super chats to read through before we wind down for the day. So here, let me switch my scene here to. There we go, responding to super chats. All right, so we got this one to start with. Natika's kicking us off here, who says, for Baku, what do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
Wait, is this? Oh,
They're
no,
both
no,
Paris
no, no,
sites.
no, 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 no.
Yep, that's
No.
he paid. He says that's right. I paid $5 for that groan. He's a paying customer. That's how it goes. And then we have just a sticker here, a fist bump here that came from Module Cell. Thank you so much for the fist bumps, much appreciated.
Hey, thank you.
All right, we got
like Nauticus.
from Still Alive. We've got this message here. It says, someone told me that the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters might be confirmed for console release because on Square's official release schedule on their website, it is listed as TBA. You think they might be onto something?
I can't imagine them not releasing on console just because it is a low weight game. It is simple to port. I mean, in this day and age, if you rebuild the game, which is what they've done, and you don't plan for multi-platform, someone needs to be fired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
you develop from the grounds up. It's made not for like a Switch, but it's for PC, which architecturally is very similar to basically all modern console.
Yeah.
So if you code to a PC, you can port it to consoles. Like
there are
sure,
streamlined
it
tools
some
to
work, but
make it easy.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So
really,
yeah.
the question has been this entire time, why haven't they already done this? And it's just weird.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's not like there's a Steam. It's not like it's a Steam exclusive. It's not like a Sony or a Nintendo went and made a deal with them and be like, here, how about you sell on our platform only for a while? I mean, there's no such thing with Steam. Steam doesn't care, right? So
yeah, Steam's not paying them for it. I'm sure. Are they?
Are they? That's a weird conspiracy.
I mean, it's not a conspiracy. I mean, because consoles do it all the time, but would Steam do it? I mean, I
doubt it. Steam has been very critical of exclusives. So it just doesn't make sense to ruin their message with a couple of games from a Japanese developer that honestly it's a small splash in their total sales with all of their other player base. Makes sense.
For a company that is the size of Square Enix, it is a small risk, medium-sized reward scenario to port it. Like, it wouldn't cost them hardly anything to make it digitally available, and then of course I think
so. Yeah, it's still a good question why they haven't done it. I still don't know why they didn't, but they haven't.
Maybe at some point we'll find out.
Yeah, and you will find out here on HitPoint.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. So
we'll let you know
we got another message here from Duo Beard who says, volunteering Derek to join in on Spooktober.
Yes! Yes! Thank you. Yes. I would like to see Derek participate in Spooktober.
All right. If you can find a spooky multiplayer game RPG.
Wait, multiplayer?
Yeah, we can play together on Twitch, maybe on Spooktober. Collaboration. It's what all the cool kids do. Yeah. Horror multiplayer or something. I don't know. It can be kind of neat.
I feel like such a thing does exist, but it's not going to be an RPG. I mean, you can.
There's Phasmophobia or something, right? There's Phasmo, but
Phasmo's not an RPG. I mean, if you want to play Phasmo in October, I'll play Phasmo with you any day.
All right, well, maybe we'll do that. It's been a long time since we played, so
that is true. That is true. I think we tried one time.
I bought it and then I played it like twice, and then gotta get my money's worth.
They've done a lot of updates, so much that I don't even know like what's in there anymore.
You're no longer know what the meta is anymore.
That's true. I really don't. But I feel like they have. I feel like they've changed a lot of things.
We can just play and die all the time. It'd be a lot of fun.
We could just play and die all the time.
All right. And then we got another one message here from Francisco Lira who says, Stadia was so mismanaged. They launched the system with few exclusives and established the studios after announcing Stadia. The writing was on the wall. And I actually did already go ahead and Google this earlier when I was looking about like Stadia exclusives. And here's a list of maybe not all of them, but like some notable ones.
Ooh, I want to hear it. Okay.
Yeah. So, do you remember the game Hello Neighbor?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there was a kind of a follow up called Hello Engineer that is apparently a Stadia exclusive.
Okay.
Uh,
They've never heard of that, and there's probably that reason. Okay.
there's another game here called Pixel Junk Raiders from Pixel Junk, I guess, or I'm sorry, Q Games. So I've
Okay.
heard of Pixel Junk, but I don't know them. But yeah, they made Raiders. There was a game called Outcasters, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Oh, here's Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle. It's a multiplayer Pac-Man.
Wow. I missed out on wow.
There's a
Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle.
there's a third-person horror game called Gylt, Gylt.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's it.
Totally missed out. Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah, yeah. So,
Huh.
um,
Well. Well. Boy.
with exclusives like that, how could they fail?
Well, here's the question, right? Because they're doing refunds in January. If I buy the console right now, if I buy the service right now, can I get refund?
I doubt
Can
it.
I buy the game and get refund in January? Because
I'm
why
assuming
not,
that there's
right?
a.
Just like
I'm
I'm
sure
just
that there's a
renting it.
statute on that probably cuts off like the date that they announced it. Like anybody before our announcement on October 1st will have a refund. Anybody who buys it afterwards, that's your fault.
Would suck for someone who didn't catch the news. Say, you know what? After 4 years, I'm finally going to give Stadia a try. I finally got good enough internet to give them a shot. Let's see what happens. And then they announced like this like 2 days before they did
Dude,
the thing.
I bet that there is a fire sale. If you go on to eBay right now, you could probably buy a controller and just get like a month to try it out and see what it was like in its final days. I wouldn't
I
be
just
surprised.
feel like there's got to be someone out there who's selling like who's gonna buy some Stadia thing just for like a piece of gaming history.
Oh, I mean, I have an Ouya, so it's probably me.
Oh wow, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Wow, that was the thing.
I hope that Google releases some sort of like update to the controller though that allows it to just be a Bluetooth controller, because if they don't, it's just so much e-waste. You know? Like,
Man,
that's so many controllers heading to a landfill if they don't release some sort of software update to unlock them. Hopefully,
I'm on eBay right now. I see them selling for like $20, like the controller with the Chromecast Ultra. $20.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So I think that is about it for today, guys. But yeah, if you liked today's episode, and if you're new here and if you liked what you heard, be sure to give us a follow. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Or just shoot us a voicemail if you want us to read it on, or listen to it next time. If you're listening on various podcasting platforms out there, maybe get subscribed so you'll see when we get another episode. And until then, I hope you all have a good rest of your week. Baku-san JRPG, have you got any closing thoughts for the people?
Yes. Spy Family season 2 is out, so start watching it. It's like a super good anime, and yes, I will get better soon. Thank you so much, Dubria. I'm still coughing, so I apologize for that. But yes,
How
please
dare
watch
you,
that
sir.
Spy Family. Just watch it. It's good. It's wholesome. It's cute, and it's fun. And Anya is really cute. Just
All
watch
right,
the
I'm
anime.
cutting you off now.